Okay, legends, welcome to the Pot Noodle on Celtic Down Under. I'm your host, Jared, and joining me are Shane and Liam. How you going, Shane?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Not in anything Celtic gear on the pod today for the first time in a little while. I'm rocking my Australian Boomers hoodie. For those who are tuning in on the video version of the pod, uh, I'm sure everyone knows that I love my basketball, and the Boomers won their third Asian Cup in a row overnight, beating China by 1 point. So I thought I'd wear that to celebrate a pretty important basketball achievement.
You want to know something funny, Shane? I didn't even realise the final was on for that because I was still waiting to hear on it if we had a massive punch on with the Filipinos again in the game leading up to it.
We did play them in the quarterfinals though, and got through, but got through unscathed this time.
How you going, Liam?
Aye, good. I've got my a t-shirt on today in tribute to everyone's favourite space fascist, General Zod. Turned stamp, sadly passed away yesterday. So, one of the first film I ever saw all the way through was Superman 2, and he was the main villain in that movie, and all-round great actor. So, just a wee t-shirt tribute to him today.
And that's why the pod's named what it is, Neil for Celtic, instead of Neil before Zod. Isn't that what it was?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's literally what it says on the t-shirt.
There you go.
Just to jump in on that too, Terence Stamp Valet, of course, and was a really wonderful actor in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. A really, really good role in that, and he was tremendous. So, Valet.
Yeah.
Didn't even know he was in that one, Shane, so there you go. Not my sort of thing that I would watch, so happy days. But anyway, we're just going to get through tonight's pod. So we're going to be talking about the game against Falkirk, a few little talking points, some transfer chats, and then we'll preview the upcoming Champions League qualifier. And, sorry about that, everyone. Had a blood nose like 5 minutes before we went live here. So, yeah, everything's a bit all over the joint at the moment. I'm just feeling like rubbish. So I apologise for that. But, yeah, we'll just get on with it. So Celtic 4, Falkirk 1. Bit of an interesting one. We knew Brendan would make some changes. I wasn't expecting him to ring the changes as hard as he did. So I'll go through the starting lineup as always. So it was Sinisalo in goals, Johnson and Tierney at fullbacks. I didn't expect Tierney to start. But then Murray and Trusty. Middle of the park, McCowan, McGregor, Ingles. Johnny Kenny with the start with Dazen and Jamesy on the wings. So Liam, what was your thoughts with that lineup?
Well, initial disappointment that neither Inamura nor Yamada were featured, because I thought that would be a perfect game for the two of them, particularly with what Rodgers has been saying about how he's assessing Inamura every day to decide whether he stays or goes on loan. And it's like, well, Falkirk in the Cup, is there a better chance to prove whether or not a guy is up to playing against the average Scottish team than a game against Falkirk? It's, to me, that it's crazy that he didn't feature at all in that game. But no, aside from that, I think it was pretty much. I think Tierney needs games to get back into the swing of things with Celtic. So I'm not that surprised that he started. And that Engels was always going to get a run out. This was a perfect game to rotate him in. And yeah, apart from that, it was pretty much as expected, I think.
Yeah, the only other change I would have thought was we're talking about like Alistair Johnson. I probably would have thought Ralston would have got a game. The same thing. Murray and Ralston, that's what I said on Thursday, would have been a perfect game for them to get in. But Shane, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I think there were 6 changes overall compared to the team that ran out at Pittodrie. So that was a little bit surprising. I'm not too sure. It was surprising, but at the same token, you could make a case for it. So it was one of those kind of, depending which way you sort of leant, you could really make an argument for keeping a few players in from Pittodrie and going and having a few more changes like we did. I thought the balance was okay in the end. I liked the fact Engels came in, and I agree with Tierney continuing to play as well. I agree with Liam. He needs to get his fitness up. He needs to get consistent runs. And he's still getting subbed off around the 60-minute mark. That's probably okay in a game like we saw against Falkirk, but we need him to we need him to run out a bit more and make sure that he can last a little bit longer than the hour mark. But overall, and I hate to sort of, I guess, become a broken record, but the curious case of Inamura continues. I agree wholeheartedly with Liam. This was the perfect opportunity for him to at least make the squad, let alone actually play. And to see he wasn't featured in the matchday squad again was really disappointing.
Yeah, there was just some comments here, so I'll bring them up here. So Craigie White saying, "What's the plan for Inamura?" And then follows that up with, "I don't feel comfortable with Scales at left back." And then AR saying, "Is Inamura another Raphael Scheidt scam signing?" Smell the Glove is saying, "Sorry to say, but with Inamura not in the European squad, I don't think we'll see him this season at the club." And
It's looking that way.
that's exactly how I'm feeling with it, because if he's not in the squad and Rogers is playing Scales out of position when Tierney comes off, I just don't see it for Inamura. I think he'll probably have to go on loan to another Scottish club. But I wouldn't even put him in the Raphael Scheidt thing. I'll put him in the Bernabei sort of thing, where he shows a lot. He's got some great attributes, but for some reason the gaffer won't play him.
I think we all had cause for concern a little bit, but maybe this fixture, looking ahead, when we were commenting on it a few weeks ago, we kind of all had this fixture in mind of this is where we'll probably see him feature. To not even make the matchday squad in a cup tie at home to Falkirk is really alarming.
Yep. So I'm just going to look at the fixture list, Shane, just on that now, just because you just said that, and I'm like, that's a good opportunity for us. So if we go through it, we've got Champions League qualifier on Wednesday. Then on, I think Saturday, we've got Livy at home in the league. So that's maybe a game you could play him in. Then you've got Champions League qualifier, Rangers at Ibrox, Killy away after the international break, and then Partick Thistle away. So realistically, between now and the next month, let's be honest, there's probably 3 out of 6 games he could play. However, 2 of them are after the transfer window. So realistically, there's 1 game for him to play to stake a claim to stay the rest of the season. It's pretty rubbish situation for the guy to be in.
You know, it's one of those things. I don't know if it's Rodgers having a kind of protest thing because it wasn't his signing or whatever, or he's like, I'll decide who plays whatever in it. But whatever point Rodgers are trying to make, it's not Inamura's fault that he and the board are having issues, and Inamura is the only one being punished for it at the moment. And I think that is really unfair.
Yeah, there's a bit of collateral damage, unfortunately, and in a battle of the egos. That's the way I look at it. Sucks to be him, mate. That's all I've got to say. But when we get back to the game, like going into the game, seeing that lineup, I'm like, yeah, we're still going to win. But Shane, what was your thoughts on the first half?
Overall, relatively positive, to be honest with you, mate. I actually quite enjoyed the way we played. I thought we were moving the ball with pace. I thought our tempo was good throughout the first half. I thought we were getting the ball into good areas. I thought our wide players in particular were looking very good, and Maeda and Forrest and AJ and Tierney in particular were doing very well. I thought we were working hard. I thought we were getting the ball into good areas. The only thing that was really disappointing was that we didn't really take many of the chances that we created. Now, we created a lot of half chances, and I think on another day, maybe a couple of them would have fallen our way. And in particular, Kenny, I thought, had a couple of moments where he'd probably like that time over again, particularly if he's going to stake a claim for more first-team football. But overall, I thought we were just a little bit wasteful. And unfortunately, we could have been out of sight at halftime, and we weren't. At 1-0, and they had some moments, but 1-0 didn't really reflect, I thought, the way we played in that first 45.
What do you think, Liam?
Yeah, pretty much what Shane said. I 100% agreement.
I was just watching there as Shane was talking, listening to him, and I'm looking at you, Liam, and I wasn't sure if the screen froze up or what, but it looked like you fell asleep for a second there with your eyes closed. Over there. I've
No.
got this little walkie-talkie thing in the background, so I clicked that and I go, "You all right, Liam?" And then the screen caught up.
I often do that. I
Sleep.
often cause that reaction to most people I talk to. If anyone's those of you who've met my partner, you understand I can put a lot of people to sleep just by my conversational skills sometimes.
No, I used to suffer with that. What's it called? Narcolepsy. Aye, that's it.
See that's a good visual gag. If you're listening to the audio version, you might struggle with that one.
They've got imaginations, they'll be right.
Uh,
So yeah, Liam, just the Jason's goal. What was your thoughts on that?
Beautiful. Who was it put the header back across for Dyson? Because that was the
Tierney.
best part of the move for me.
Tierney.
That was the best bit of the move, getting that header back across goal. Dyson still got to reach for it, and it's a brilliant finish. But that knockdown from Tierney was absolute class.
I thought the first half, like, we created a lot of chances. Bainzo was pretty much, you could tell he was up against his old club. Like, he has not played a game like that well since, when he had to go and play for us over at Ibrox when we pretty much first signed him. Like, he was right up there with that in terms of his shot stopping. But when I was watching the replay back just before the pod, I don't know if you noticed, the first save that Bain made, right? Did you see how the ball got to the guy who took the shot? I think it was McGregor. It was off his teammate's dick. Someone's just nutted the ball forward to him and then he's just had a shot. And then fallen down and crumpled on the ground. I don't know which one it was. I think it may have been McCowan from looking at it there. But way to put it all on the line, Lukey, if it was you. So, yeah, I just thought that was funny. So that was my non-football related highlight of the game.
I remember seeing that in real time, and I very much winced in pain with him in solidarity.
Does a cock slap count as an assist? Then we agreed on that.
He passed with his third leg, Liam, so he's okay.
That's a big flex.
And then second half, Liam, what was your thoughts on that?
One thing I think we need to say is that fair play to Falkirk. They came out and tried to have a go and tried to play football, and it was a much better game for it, particularly in the second half. I think it was Celtic were never in danger of losing it, but it was a game where, both teams were trying to make things happen. Both teams were being very productive. And I think even if you're a Falkirk fan going home that night being beat 4-1, I think you're going to think, you know what, the boys had a go, fair play to them.
Yeah, I agree with you, Liam, because for me, like, I just love the fact that they're coming out and actually trying to play football. They did it last year against us in a cup. They're up in the top flight for the first time in God knows how long. Over a decade, I think it is.
Yeah.
And they're not doing what every other promoted team does and just come up, sit back, absorb pressure, and try and hit you on the counter. They're like, no, we got here playing football. We're going to keep playing football and see where the cards fall, basically. And I've got so much respect. Who's their gaffer again? I can't remember.
John McGlynn.
John McGlynn? That's what I thought. And I'm like, if I had a hat on, I would tip it. Shane, tip your hat to him for me, would you? There you go. It's like class for the guy, and nice hat hair, by the way. But it's one of those things where I just look at it and go, it's just great that to see a team come up and actually play football. And I know it's a cup competition, so there's no tomorrow. You've got to go and play football. But even in the league, from what I've seen, they've been doing the same thing. And it's a breath of fresh air in Scottish football. I'm loving seeing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would just add that I first met John McGlynn, about 25 years ago when I was working for the Herald newspaper and I was covering the SPFL Under-21 League, or SPL Under-21 League as it was then, and he was in charge of Hearts. And even then, he had the Hearts Under-21 team playing some really, really good football. I went to a game where they played Celtic, and I think Celtic ended up winning 3-2 or 4-3. It was a right high scoring game, and both teams were just really going for it. And it was, ever since then, I've always had a lot of time for John McGlynn. His teams play football.
He gives me the vibes of any time you see an Ange team play, they're going to
Yeah.
get out there and have a way that they do things. I'm not saying it's the same thing. Like with Ange's teams will always press and press and press and press and play with an extremely high line at the back. McGlynn's teams, you can say he has a system that he loves, and that's how he coaches, and it doesn't matter what the thing is. His teams are going to play nice football.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's good to see. You got anything you wanted to add about the second half performance there, Shane, or do you just want to talk about the goals?
Oh, I just want to take the time to agree with Liam. The game did really get stretched in that second half, and it did open up, and they had a dip. I think what was really important for us is the fact that, we talked about the first half and the fact that we weren't out of sight when we could have been, and we scored a couple of goals really early on in the second half to put the tie to bed, which was really important. And overall, I didn't see a great deal of difference in terms of the way we played compared first to second half, and even with the substitutions as well, with Young coming on and Yamada, there was still that same urgency even late into the game. And I thought that was really, really impressive for a tie that we'd wrapped up about around the hour mark. We still kept going and kept pressing. And that was really important.
Yeah, I'd agree. The thing for me as well is I just thought the longer the game went on, the more Alistair Johnson got involved going forward. Like his play, whether he was overlapping or whether he was cutting in an inside channel or pressing for his goal where he pressed it, won it, and then went and scored. When I first saw that, I'm like, oh, was that a quick one too? No, he just won the ball, got it, put apart, tapped it in front of a guy, beat another man, and then put the shot in. So he's starting to come into some really good form. And there was a comment early on, there it is there, from McLaughlin, which ties into that, saying this must be the two best fullbacks I've seen in our team at the same time. And I'd have to agree, especially in the last couple of last decade at least. But yeah, it's good to see Tierney and Johnson there.
Yeah, agreed.
Liam looks like he's got something to add. He's got some smirk on his face here.
No, I was just looking at that John Cena comment in the comments.
I haven't even got to it yet.
Incidentally, guys, once the show is finished today, everybody needs to go on YouTube and look up John Cena prank call. It is one of the funniest 10 minutes you'll ever experience. You know the one I'm talking about, Shane?
Yes, I do.
There we go.
That poor lady. I don't want to give away too much in terms of my physical capacity, but I think if I wore a chain around my neck, I'd be like dragged down because I'm not physically imposing at all.
Let's be honest, Shane. What are you, like 5'3", 5'5", something like that? If you were a chain, you'd be walking around probably 3'2".
It'd have to be a very small chain.
Anyway, okay, in the comments, if Shane was to be a rapper, let us know what his rapper name is.
God.
Why would you do that?
Because you can't be two chains the rapper because you'd be like underground if you had two chains on. So, let's just get some craziness in the comments.
And ray gun's already been taken, so it can't be that either.
And if Liam, was a hip hop dancer, let us know, what his trademark move would be. There you go. Let's get some stuff in the comments. You mentioned ray gun there, Shane. So you set Liam up to cop that now. Anyway, so we'll just go through. We'll finish up wrapping up the game quickly. Then we'll go through some comments, and then I'll get some of those up there. So, any players in particular you wanted to focus on? I've got one ready to go, but Shane, you got the hand up there, so go for it.
I just want to give a shout out to AJ. I don't know if I'm stealing your thunder again, mate, but really, in particular with his goal was the pick of the four. It was tremendous. His ability, he had a fantastic game up until that point anyway, but to win the ball back, to cut inside and to curl it in. So he's won it on the right. He's cut inside and curled it in with his left foot. Tremendous finish.
Okay, that wasn't who I was going with, so we're good. I got two here, a positive and a negative. So I'll start with the negative. I've been big up in Johnny Kenny for a while, and he had his chance, and he did nothing with it. As far as I'm concerned, it wasn't a great opportunity for him. He could have, with the form Eaters in and everything, he could have done really well for himself there. But, yeah, steaming pile of shite was what my opinion of his performance in that game. The one I want to big up, though, is Dane Murray. Looks like
Yes.
we finally got a centre back coming out of the academy, doing something. Like he's come in, he did well early on, then did an ACL. He's realised if I want to play, I've got to get in the gym. He's bulked up a bit this off season, and now he's actually contributing at a good level for us. So that header was just that was some grown man strength there to get that header and get it in and everything. And yeah, it's good to see another one come from the academy because it's a massive waste of money most years. So yeah, the other two I wanted to focus on. You got anyone, Liam?
I was just going to say it didn't have that much to do, but Sinisalo had a decent game. What do we think about the idea of him being the cup keeper this season? I'd be up for it.
I have a question. What classifies as the cup? Because at some clubs, the cup is anything but the league. So does that mean he plays Champions League because that's technically a cup, or not?
No, it doesn't.
What if we were in the Europa League?
No, because unlike clubs in the big leagues, we take European football seriously, regardless of what level it is. So,
Correct answer.
yeah.
No, I agree. Perfect.
Yeah,
I'll be
but
okay.
the good thing is as well, though, with the League Cup concluding before Christmas and then the Scottish Cup starting in January, you could play him in both of those, and that's him got a steady like one or two games a month between now and the end of the season.
That means he'll get a good 10, 15 appearances over the course of the season because, there's the two cup games, the two cup competitions, plus it gives him a chance to be in big games when there's things on the line, like go and win some trophies as the main keeper in these, and that'll set him up ready to go for, say, next season as the starter if Casper was to retire.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
Yeah, completely on board with that. And it also means that if Casper does pick up an injury, he's ready to fill in a bit more. I guess he's a bit more ready than he was last season, right? So, and, from what we've seen from him so far, I think we've absolutely got a player there. So let's start to get him some more first-team football where we can work his way into the 11 where needs be. And so then eventually when his time comes, and he will eventually become the number one keeper, he's most certainly ready for it.
Yep, 100%. So, any other talking points from the game, or do you just want to go to your man of the match?
I'll quickly give a shout out to Engels, who I thought was very good as well. I love the class that he brings to that midfield when he's involved. So, quick shout out to Engels.
His delivery as well from the corners was an improvement on what we've seen recently as well. So, I just wanted to say that as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes he just can't beat the first man for the life of him, but he was doing better this time around. Man of the match, Shane.
AJ for me. I thought he was very good. Obviously, pick of the bunch with the goals, but had a wonderful game and he's had a wonderful start to the season.
Liam?
Yeah, I would agree. I would go with AJ as well. I just think he was outstanding, and the goal just capped off what was a great all-round performance.
Let's just go 3 out of 3 because that's who I was as well. So it's definitely AJ in that game. So happy days. So we'll go through some comments, see what the lay of the land is before we crack on to the next topic. So, okay. So there was one early on I was trying to find about Rogers.
Does he? Sorry.
So AR is saying, if Rogers is being undermined by the board regarding signings, why is he tolerating
Why
it?
do any of us tolerate bosses we don't like? Money.
And Smell the Glove answered that here. It's because he promised the fans he'll be here till the end of the season, well, unless he's sacked. And I honestly reckon that's the only reason he's not walking out, because this is a complete repeat of when he left the first time. And it almost makes me feel like if he hadn't have done that last time around, he'd be out the door. Not tolerating it. So there's that. Now, AR has also said, I'll be amazed if Maeda is here come 1st of September. Talk is, I think it's Brentford that we're looking at him, but then they're also they've just signed another winger potentially, or put a bid in. So Liam, is there anything in Japan on that at all or not?
There's been no change in Dyson's situation for over a month now. No new contract with Celtic yet. Discussions ongoing in the background. couple of clubs interested in him, but nobody's made a serious offer yet because Celtic would want more than they are willing to pay.
Yep. That's what I thought. Craigie White saying the forward line's still pants and nowhere near fit for purpose domestically and the potential Champions League. Have to agree with that. I just love the term pants, like saying it's bad. It's just the best. And then McLaughlin saying, get the wide men in to compliment these guys. It's criminal if we don't. So we'll scroll through. Lubo McNamura. What a great name. First time after all these years catching you guys lives. Loving it. However, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Yep, love the name.
That is a clever name. Loving it. So let's just scroll through and see what we've got as see if anyone said what Shane's rap name would be. No, until we get to there, we'll go. Andrew Galea is saying if Sinisala is going to be our number one, he needs game time this season.
Well, again, that's why I went with the cup player idea. It's a good way to phase him in gradually.
And then Heavy Vibes are saying Casper should play less this season too, give young Sinisalo more games. And then Craigie White, Sinisalo for me this season. I think we'll see more of him. John Cairns is saying another week, another lack of signings. We can't be that inept as a club to know the difference between UCL and not is about 40 to 60 million pound. It's criminal.
Oh, Celtic can be that inept. Having done business with them personally, they absolutely can be that inept.
Yeah. There we go, Shane Shagger on the mic. There you go.
Wouldn't that be his partner's name, though?
The Shane Shagger?
I really hope she's not tuning into this.
I'm sorry. No harm to you if you're listening, my dear. I was just, thinking out loud.
If I hear like just a tisk kiss tisk from the other room, I'll know she's
fun and games. There you go. So what we'll do is, Liam, what's with all the barricading the fans inside the stadium on the weekend?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a memo got confused somewhere. Rogers said we need a right winger, and the board decided to fucking replicate the Gestapo. I don't know.
Jesus.
Shane's I don't know him.
It's a really bad image. It's really unnecessary. It's really stupid, and especially doing it as a game against Falkirk when half the stadium's empty anyway. There's just no need for it. I mean, they said it was to prevent fan movement, but why? Why? What's wrong? If there's empty seats, people want to go and sit in them. Fine. What is the problem? And if an area is too crowded, just say to people, right, show us your ticket. You don't have a ticket, you can't sit there. You don't need metal fences and people dressed like police who clearly weren't police to enforce all this nonsense. Just apply common sense and just have a word with people and just say, look, sorry, but your ticket isn't for this area. Off you go. I really don't see it's just another PR own goal from the club, and it's one that is completely preventable.
Yeah, smell the gloves saying the fans are calling it the Berlin Wall.
No, the Berlin Wall was built competently.
I was going to say, it was, the Mexican border fence.
Aye, that's a more appropriate, yeah.
Jeez, we're touching on all the key things tonight. I tell you what's hard to
keep there. We're getting there, Shane. We're unleashing tonight.
Yeah.
We could call it the 38th parallel as well, couldn't we? The North Korean border, if we're going to...
The demilitarised zone.
Aye.
No, you've got more dangerous stuff there. You've got a couple of people who have bottles of Bucky or something like that with them. So, you could, a few petrol bombs with that, I reckon.
Well, I mean, to be fair, who would you rather face? A squad of the North Korean military or a gang of Celtic fans buckied up? And, that's a 50-50 call.
I don't know. I think it's a fair fight. You know what? I'm putting a third contender in there. The Emu War, the Emus.
Yes.
We'll put them in. They'll beat both. Just.
Yep.
Do you know, I was talking about the Emu Wars, just to go off on one for a second. I read a fascinating statistic the other day that stuck in my mind, right? Australia could invade Uruguay tomorrow and conquer the country easily if they used kangaroos. Because apparently, because of the numbers, the difference in numbers between the population of Uruguay and the number of kangaroos in Australia, every Uruguayan would have to fight off 16 kangaroos if they invaded.
Got one for you. Since you brought that up, of all the states in Australia, there is more kangaroos in every single state in Australia than people, except for Victoria, where me and Shane are, and Tasmania, because it's an island and they can't bounce across the water to get in and out. So there you have it. There's 27 million people in Australia, and there's like 40 million kangaroos.
This isn't just about Celtic, everybody. We're an Australian Celtic-based group. This is all factual information. We are sharing
educational shit right here.
See, it reminds me of that Paul Gascoigne story when he was training for the 1990 World Cup. You know, but this one, England were touring New Zealand.
Is this the ball? And
No.
Oh, don't
Gaza said, I want a full English breakfast at the hotel. And they're like, I'm sorry, sir, we can't do that. We can do a continental breakfast. We can do cereal, yogurt, fruits. He's like, no, I want bacon, eggs, sausages, you know, the full fry up. He says, we can't do that. I'm sorry. Why not? He says, we've not got any bacon. He says, come on, are you telling me in an island with 10 million sheep you've not got any bacon?
that was so
true story, apparently. True story.
There's thick, right? And then there's Wayne Rooney thick, and then there's like Daylight, and then there's Paul Gascoigne thick, right? Yeah, dude.
How many more games are Rangers going to fail to win before he shows up at Ibrox with a fishing rod and a bucket of KFC?
Oh, jeez, we lost today.
Yeah, we've gone off the end.
Right. Back on topic. Next
get back to it.
question, please.
So let's talk about transfers for a little while. My favourite topic at the moment. Are you expecting any signings to be made prior to our upcoming Champions League qualifier on Wednesday? Because I think we've got 1 day left that we can add to any signings, and we can add 2 players up to then. Expecting anything or not?
No.
Hoping, yes. Expecting, no.
Okay. With that in mind, there are rumours. There's a few rumours floating around, and I'm going to rattle off a few for you, okay? So apparently Celtic have confirmed concrete interest in Stengs from Feyenoord. They're wanting €9 million. Yeah, we offered 4.8. Stock standard. Apparently the Broom deal will be completed at a similar fee. There's interest in someone trying to buy Bernardo off us. And then I've got a few other ones here. So obviously there's rumours Balak-Wisha could be on his way in before the deadline. That's the one I've heard could be done before the Champions League qualifier. But then there's also rumours of Jamie Vardy and David Strelic coming to Celtic too. So, I agree with Smell the Glove. Nothing's happening until after the second leg. 100%.
Nothing's being confirmed till after the second leg, definitely. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, what do you think on any of those rumours though? Let's just, carry on a bit. But what do you think of them, Liam? Any of them that you'd actually be happy with?
I tell you what, why don't we make this simple? Why don't you give us a name and then I'll say yes, no, or maybe. And I'll elaborate a little bit as to why.
Okay, so we'll go through each of them, right? All right, just bear with me a second. Jeez, I've got his name completely wrong. Calvin Stengs from Feyenoord.
Yes, if we make the Champions League. He's one that we'll go back in for and we'll get because he's not getting a regular game with Feyenoord despite being a Dutch international.
Yep. Shane, you got any idea on that or don't you even know who that is?
No, most of those names you rattled off have gone in one ear and out the other apart from Jamie Vardy and Paolo Bernardo, but that's because he's a Celt.
Fair enough. We'll go to the next one then. It was We'll go Miguel and Balikwisha.
Again, yes, if we get through.
And then we'll go with Jamie Vardy, Shane.
That's when I was about to take a drink of water. You timed that perfectly. Yes, I've heard the rumors. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. How old is he now? 38, 39?
38.
38. No, I'm not interested. I think if we're going to actually invest in this position, we're going to need someone substantially younger and someone that I think is going to have a bit more of a long-term impact. So it's a no from me.
Liam?
There's more chance of the Rangers coming than Jamie Vardy coming.
So Craigie White's pretty much touched on what I was going to say. At the note of Vardy, his wife is a nail. Pretty much sums it up. We don't need any of those idiots. There you go, smell the glove. Imagine that mental wife in Glasgow. She'd fit right in, wouldn't she? But over down at Ibrox, not our way.
Sorry, is that an Australian thing? She's a nail. I don't.
It doesn't ring a bell with me.
Right. I thought it might be count a number of times she's been hammered by different things and people. I don't know.
She's got the brain activity of a little piece of metal that gets hammered.
Right. Okay.
Go. Yeah. So McLaughlin saying Giroud signed for Lille and scored yesterday. He's 39. And then Lille went for Giroud instead of Igmane.
That's 15 million out of the transfer war chest at Ibrox then.
I'll bring up some comments here. So Ross is saying no one will be in before tomorrow, possibly by Friday. He also said Donovan will go on loan at Dundee, announcement due over the next day or two.
Aye, I've heard that one as well.
And then he's followed that up with, we 100% had someone watching Strelic last week in the Champions League qualification game, and that's the one you're referring to here, Andrew, the lad from Bratislava, and that was the last one that I mentioned before. Apparently, his old man, who's his agent, is saying that us and Middlesbrough are in for him. So
let him go to Middlesbrough, then he's pish.
I don't think he's any better than Eder. And Eder's struggling, but I don't see much. They're very similar players. And if Eder's struggling in this system the way he is, I don't see why we'd spend €9 million on another guy who does the exact same thing that doesn't suit the system that we play.
Where does it make sense to buy the best player of the team that just got knocked out by the team you're trying to knock out? Just that doesn't make sense.
Can I get something for you? That's reminding me of when Rangers signed Nikola Katic and Borna Barisic from some Croatian team that they just knocked out in the qualifiers and then signed them the next week.
Yeah.
It's reminding me of that logic.
Yep.
And yes, I remember that. Ridiculous. Some of the shit that you remember all these years. And then Ross is saying Strelic has been looked at because they believe he can link the play better than anyone we have. He's also said that if he was to come in, he'd be he's actually said that it'd be a stepping stone move. But anyway, we'll figure it out.
We know that most players that come to Celtic, it's a stepping stone. But if you're going to say that before you've even signed for us, I'm sorry, that's a level of arrogance that we don't need.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got John Kansas saying Eder come from a side with some decent players. This boy comes from a club with players that can't feed him the ball, perhaps maybe half decent. And Mikey, thanks for the reminder. That's it. Aussie Jack is the team. Yeah. And there's a comment as well from Andrew Galea saying every striker will struggle under Rodgers. And then he follows it up saying, we just don't deliver the ball quickly enough into the box anymore.
We need to play two up front. I keep saying it. We need to play two up front. It's just not working.
It makes too much sense, Liam. You look at our defence, right? We've got 5 centre-backs.
Yeah.
You've got CCV, Trusty, Scales, Dane Murray's playing well, and then you've got JSP, who's just come in, 5 centre-backs. You've got 2 guys Dazen should be playing as a striker as part of a 2 with Eder. We don't have any wingers. So why the hell are we not playing a 3-5-2? Our midfield's strong enough. We sacrifice the wingers, get the extra centre back, control the middle, and play a bit more direct. It makes sense, but I think Brendan's just got a bit of a, bit of a fright about going to that because last time he played that system, he got the sack at Leicester.
I mean, it does make a lot of sense. I mean, you play Maeda up top with Eder. You've got Tierney and AJ providing the width. You solve the problem really of trying to fit Scales, Trusty, and Carter Vickers in it all at once when you can't with the back four. I guess the only concerns in that is, we kind of circle back to something we're struggling with at the moment is we don't have another left back or potentially a left wing back that can come in if Tierney can't run out of full 90, right? So we've still got that problem.
We have the perfect solution. It's a wing back. His name is Inamura. We already have that player.
Reo Hatate also got Player of the Year playing as a wing back for Kawasaki Frontale.
There you go. We have that player. 2 of them. We've got them. It's just ridiculous. Like, I always thought you tailor your system to the talent you have. Rather than just being so, this is what I'm going to do. Brendan Rodgers' first stint was 4-2-3-1, rigid all the time. This time around, 4-3-3, all the way around. It's like, come on. We've got players. Mix it up.
We don't do that anymore.
Lachlan saying later at left wing back, he'd be like a Gat on the left. Yeah, but I wouldn't want to sacrifice him up front for that. We've got other players who can play that role.
But again, Maeda could do that. He's definitely got the engine for it. It's not ideal, but he could do it if need be.
I just can't see who else you play off either if you do two. If you play 2 up top and you go with the 3-5-2. So you'd play Yamada and Eder up top together?
Yeah.
I think they'd work really well together.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that. You could also, if you want someone to just go out there and kick lumps and just be a physical threat, just stir it up, you can throw Johnny Kenny in there to be a menace. He doesn't mind doing that. Got options, but Yamada's way above him. Yeah, so as Ross is saying, there's no secret with Rodgers and strikers. He's open about the fact he doesn't care if they score heavily. His ideal striker is like Mikel Oyarzabal in the role he plays for Spain. I completely butchered that last name, but anyway. Well, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, we can all see it, but he's getting the big bucks for a reason. So, we got to go with it. Yeah, for a bit of a chuckle, if we don't sign Strelic or Vardy or Balikwisha or any of these names that have been floating around, right? I've got an absolute doozy for you. This is the one I didn't want to tell you boys before the pod. I wanted to just get a reaction on it, right?
Right.
Should Celtic look to sign any players from within Scottish Premiership? If so, who do you think is Celtic class? Like, is there anyone that if the board are being an absolute bunch of dicks, not signing anyone, and the only players we can get are from within the Scottish Premiership, is there anyone that you think could come in and do the job that McCowan's doing or better? And we can't go with Lennon Miller because he's pretty much out the door, okay? So that takes him out. Last year, I was saying Jack McKenzie at Aberdeen, a left-back option. He's gone. So who else is there?
I mean, we could sign James Tavernier just for the comedy value. Plus, we could do with actually having somebody who can take penalties. So,
Again, McLaughlin saying Gogic reluctantly would take a chance on. At least he clattered people and kicked the living shit out of him.
Yeah.
And maybe Bowie at Hibs.
You know what? We've mulled over it before, and I think the window's well and truly passed. But if we were absolutely desperate for a wide player that can get involved, and it absolutely came to it, I wouldn't say no to Martin Boyle.
He'd do a job.
Got Pegleg saying that striker from Hibs. Heavy vibes. I apologise. Kind sir. Don't give those bastards. And the only correct answer to this whole question is, as Ross has said here, in Scotland, none. Lennon Miller was the only one. Yep.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to do something just because I'm an Aussie. Is Ryan Strain still playing in Scotland?
I thought he moved.
I don't know.
I might have a check. I know Bacchus returned to St Mirren again recently after his trip at Mansfield. Yeah, Ryan Strain's still at Dundee United.
Yeah, Dundee
hamstring.
United. The other one would be get Cammy Devlin in just to get some mongrel in the midfield again. Nah, he'd get sent off all the time. Forget him.
And the other fullback that we're interested in, Hibbs, the Australian Lewis Mill, has gone to Blackburn as well. So he's out of the picture. But I think from memory he was right back. So I don't think we need anything in that part of the pitch.
Is Apostas Stamilopoulos still in there at Motherwell?
Yeah, he scored. He scored for Motherwell this season, so he's still around.
There you go. That's a
Law would sign him just for the shirt sales.
Extra letters.
That's what I mean.
Just throwing a few out there for a laugh. There's absolutely no one in Scotland that is Celtic class, and that was why I put the wording there. Who do you think is Celtic class? The only correct answer is nobody, since Lennon Miller's gone. Anyway, Champions League Wednesday night, Thursday morning for us against Kairat Almaty. How are you feeling heading into the game, Shane?
God almighty. Oh, geez, that wasn't worth it at all, was it? That was really bad. It got very little traction in the group chat, so I don't know why I thought I'd try it on the live recording, but you know what? Sometimes
Shane, it reminds me of that time I ran over a guy carrying a drum kit.
I feel personally responsible for that.
That's my response, Shane, to what you just did.
What the hell was that?
Look, quietly confident, but we need to get a very good result in the first leg. I don't want to be going to the second leg with only a 1-0 sort of advantage or something like that. I'd love to put 3 or hopefully 4 past them and make that second leg not easy, that's not the right word, but just have a bit of space between us and them in that second leg. Anything less, if we go in at 1-0 and go over that second leg, I'd still be confident, but there'd be a little bit of nervousness there. I'd love to take that away completely.
And Liam, how are you feeling heading into it?
We'll win this week. It's just next week worries me if we don't win by enough goals, because no Scottish team has ever won in Kazakhstan. Celtic got a draw there. We've had a couple of defeats there. The Scotland national team went there and got gubbed 3-0 the last time they played there. So we need to get the job done this week at Celtic Park. We need to be ideally 3 or 4 up, going over there to be safe. That's what I'm hoping for. But what I think is going to happen is we're going to probably win 2-0 at home, and it's going to be very edgy going over there, but I think we'll still get through.
What was it? Squeaky bum time? Is that what you think?
Aye.
For me, I'm going to say, Liam, you said that stat, no Scottish teams, won over there. And I'm like, oh, well, it's there for us to go and do now.
Yep.
We're going to go over there and absolutely thump them. That's just my feeling. But, yeah, first up leg, I'm just like, we need to get in there, play fast, play hard, bring a loud crowd to Celtic Park and just absolutely shock and awe the living shit out of them, get a couple of early goals and then watch them panic and, fall apart, because the equivalent kickoff time for us over here, at Celtic Park, the time zones work in our favour for this whole tie. For them, it's like a kickoff at like midnight their time or 1 a.m. their time. So it works perfect for us. We played. Their whole body clocks will be absolutely cooked as well. And then when we go back the other way, the kickoff's like 5:45 p.m. in Scotland. So it works better in our favour. It's like it's the weekend kickoff for us. So yeah, I'm not worried about any of that and the travel and that sort of thing. I just want us to get the job done first up and then go over there. And even if we just, have a draw over there. Who cares? We get through.
In a fortnight's time, we'll probably catch up and wonder why we were all a little bit nervous in the end, and we'll probably get through relatively comfortably. But I think we've been in this position too many times to take it for granted. To be honest,
We're all nervous because our board are a bunch of penny pinching fucks. That's what it is. Yeah, I said it. Wankers. So I want some freaking
Right.
players.
Here's a question for you, right? Would you take losing to the Huns on the 31st if it meant we got through in Europe?
Can I sing some Adele to you and say we could have had it all?
Aye.
I want it all.
Yeah, no, I like from this far out, I'd say no. Depending how things pan out, I don't know if I'd look back on it and reflect differently. But no, right now, if you put that question to me, no, I wouldn't, because I think we can get through and still win that fixture.
Oh no, I think we can as well. It's just if you offered me the choice, I'd say Champions League is far more important, and we'll gub the Huns late on the season anyway.
Oh, in that case, then yes, absolutely. If it came down to a decision between one or the other, then absolutely you'd have to pick Champions League football. That's vital.
Yeah. But you see, that's a difference. That is a difference because this, in the last couple of weeks watching, should I say, laughing at a lot of other podcasts, there's a lot of them are like, Europe doesn't matter. I can't handle that we're already 4 points behind them in the league, whatever, that mentality is what holds them back. And I like to think that we are better than that.
Do they not remember that when they died, the reason that they went under as quickly as they did, it was always going to happen, but the final straw was that they didn't qualify for the big table at the Champions League level. Yet they're worrying about, being 4 points behind in the league, but they should be, worrying about more important shit. Like, I don't know, just had to throw there. Andrew, 5 a.m. kickoff for us on Thursday.
And the return leg is 2:45 a.m.
Yep. And then to answer your question, Liam, heavy vibes was no.
No. Okay.
Andrew was why lose either?
Okay.
John Cairns is saying yes.
All right.
And Smell the Glove is saying no, I want both.
Yeah, anticipation's killing me every time you bring these up and you pause.
People are just saying losing to that Rangers team, no.
Okay.
And then McLaughlin saying I won't be accepting any of losing any of the next 4 games.
I mean, that's the thing. We win the next 4 games. That's us in a really good place for the rest of the season.
Yep. And then John Cairns is saying UCL is worth far more to us than beating the Zombies.
Yep.
McLaughlin saying I can cope with Kairat away if it's a healthy lead. And that's the thing for me. Like, if we go 3 goals up, we're cruising. Pegleg saying Champions League way more important, though. And then Ross is saying the result over there will likely depend on the result here. Piss it in here and we might phone it in over there.
Aye.
And then Gaddafi Semtex, good to see you back. Is saying game Wednesday is massive, big atmosphere needed. So, yeah. And then Andrew's saying Rangers will struggle to make the split. What a guy. That is the comment of the season. I should put that on the bottom banner on the pod. Like, where I put the odd quote here and there. That's it. I'm putting that on one.
I don't know. I know plenty of couples that have split up when one of them found out the other was a Rangers fan. So,
It's a bit hard for them, though, because when they split, it kind of makes their next family reunion awkward. Anyway. So how do you think we were prepared and game planned for it? Do you think we're just going to go out and play as usual, Liam, or do you think we're just going to get out there and, just press the living crap out of them? What are your thoughts on how we're going to prepare for it and how you reckon we'll play?
No, I think we're going to try and put this tie away as quick as we can. I think we're going to go for goals. If anybody remembers the end of Rocky 3, it's going to be like that, Got to put them away early. Yeah. So I reckon we'll go out to try and get a few goals ahead. And there's every chance that, as you guys were saying with the time differences, whatever, there's every chance that they might crack if we do get a goal or two early on.
And Shane, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, completely agree. Rodgers is going to steal this Celtic team to completely overwhelm them in this first tie. And he'll be looking to take a 3 or 4 goal advantage back for the second leg. So I can see us really working hard, pressing constantly, pretty much for the full 90, to be honest.
So I had a question here. Do you think it's going to be a high scoring or a tough slog? But I'm just going to change it up a bit here. Smell that we all know it's going to have to be. We have to score a bunch of goals. Smell the goals. My only worry is Wednesday is Kairat will pack their box, and we have Eder up front, and then Heavy Vibes are saying Shock and All get into them, and then Andrew is saying we'll be looking to be 2 up after 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's ideally what I would want to be.
And Dominic saying got to be on the front foot from minute 1.
Aye. Happy birthday, Dominic, by the way. It was his birthday yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, legend.
Happy birthday.
And then McLaughlin saying I'm looking for an Ange ball start in the first 30 minutes. And then Andrew's like, we don't want to be 0-0 at half time. And that's the one thing we can't. So which player do you think is going to have the biggest impact for us to win the game? And so we'll go that first, and then we'll go starting lineups, scores, and then final thoughts to wrap up the pod. So what are you thinking, Liam?
Most impactful player is going to be Callum McGregor. He's going to be the one responsible for making sure that the Rodgers team talk to get the team fired up carries through onto the pitch. He's going to be talking players through the game. So he will be the most important player.
What do you think, Shane?
It's going to be Almaty. We're going to have to put 4 past them at least, I'd say 3 or 4. And if they're going to sit deep, chances might be few and far between in terms of good golden opportunities. We're going to need a striker to take them. So Almaty is going to be the most important for us on the night.
I'm going with what McLaughlin said here because this is what I was going to say. Is Arnie Engels, this is your moment, son.
Mm.
This is the moment. It's written in the stars. You're going to come out there and you're just going to go absolutely ape shit. He's going to have 3 assists. I'm calling it now. He's going to just dominate it. And we're going to be like, that's the player we spent the money on. It's going to happen. So with that in mind, what's the expected starting lineup? We'll go to you first, Shane.
So Schmeichel in goal. Tierney, I'm going Trusty and Carter Vickers as a centre-half partnership with AJ on the right. I don't know how they play. I don't know if they play physically up top, but I'm expecting them to sort of sit deep and try and play on the counter. So it's going to be more speed and pace. So I think we're not going to have to worry so much about the physical element. So I'm putting Trusty ahead of Scales. In the midfield, I think Engels keeps his spot with McGregor, and I want Hatate in there. So I'd probably go Engels, Hatate, and McGregor. And up front, it's going to be, I think, what we all expect, which will be Maeda on the left, Eder leading line, and Jamesy on the right.
I'm going to go with mine first before you, Liam, because I just have to throw this in while it's fresh in my brain, right? I have 2 changes to that lineup from you, Shane. Okay? So it's going to be, I think Scales will start instead of Trusty. So it'll be Scales and CCV. And then the other thing is that midfield, Hatate, McGregor, Engels, perfect. Up front, it's going to be Maeda on the left, Eder in the middle, and we're going to see Nigren on the right.
Ooh.
We're going to start him there instead of have it. So Jamesy can come on as an impact sub for the last 20 to 30 minutes, and we don't have to rely on the Yang Gang. And what are you thinking, Liam?
Right, Schmeichel in goals, obviously. Fullbacks, Tierney and Johnson. Centre-backs, Carter Vickers and Scales. Midfield, McGregor, Engels, Hatate. And I agree. Put Nigren out on the right, Dyson on the left, Ida in the centre. And then you have Forrest and Yamada as potential impact subs.
Perfect. That's what we like. So, score predictions, boys. How are we going here? We'll go to you first, Shane. Do you want to give a serious prediction and a stupid one, or what do you want to do? Or just go serious?
I'm always serious. I don't. I'm not silly at all. 8-0. No. 4-0. Eder with a brace. Engels and McGregor.
Liam?
4-1. We'll win 4-1.
I was going to go 4-0. I said Engels is going to have a hat trick, and how it's going to work. Sorry, Engels is going to have a hat trick of assists, which is going to lead to Eder's going to score the first and the fourth goal. Cal McGregor's going to have an absolute howitzer of a shot from the car park that goes in. And just for fun, Dazon's going to get on the score sheet too.
Excellent.
So I think here we go. We'll bring up some comments here. McLaughlin saying 4-0. Smell the Glove is saying 4-0, 2 goals in each half. And McLaughlin's also saying, well, he's 4-0, Engels will get the first goal. So what we'll do is we'll wrap up the pod. You guys, I'll do my final thought first, and then we'll go. You guys give you a bit of thinking time. So my final thought I just wanted to say is to all those people who trolled Sky Stout when she signed for Killy's women's team during the week due to her skin condition, acne. She's only 16 years old. You're pathetic, we men, if you think that you're the big man on campus because you're picking on some teenage girl's skin condition. Absolute weapons, the lot of you.
Great call, mate. And I just want to echo my similar sentiments. Well said, mate. For me, a music recommendation. So since I've come back from Dublin, where I did the Irish Rock and Roll Museum tour, I've been getting into more Irish rock and roll music. So things like Thin Lizzy and so forth. But I was listening to an album called Heartworm by Whipping Boy from the early 90s. And it is an absolutely wonderful album. Wonderful alternative rock album, and genuinely one of the best albums I've heard. So if you get a chance, Heartworm by Whipping Boy, it's absolutely worth checking out.
Happy days. Liam?
Yeah. Well, a couple of wee things here. First of all, I just want to wish well my one of my friends who got divorced this week. She'd only been married to her partner for a couple of months, and what happened was I said, well, how did you guys meet in the first place? She says, well, I was working in the pharmacy and he came in and ordered like XXXXXXL condoms. I says, all right. I said, it wasn't until the wedding night I found out he had a stutter. Then the other one, after hearing that, I thought, right, I better make sure my own relationship is okay. So I took the wife to see the doctor. I said, we need to get your Tourette's cleared up. Turns out she doesn't have it. I actually am a cunt and she does want me to fuck off.
Brilliant. All right.
See you next week, folks.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.